better balance with the natural world to make significant, measurable improvements in the way we use resources.
In June 2019, Boston announced its first ever zero waste plan with the goal to become a zero waste city by 2050. The city aims to increase its current recycling rate from approximately 25% to 80% by 2035 and then 90% by 2050. The current 25% citywide recycling rate includes all materials that are collected from individuals and institutions that are reused, recycled, or composted. The remaining 75%, which is about 874,000 tons, goes primarily to waste-to-energy incinerators and landfills.
Because we also really don't have much of a choice, right? So those benchmarks are not there just for fun. There's almost 700,000 people in Boston, right? And the city of Boston is also growing. And so I think that connects to having like the adept and transforming programs. We have to plan not only for more people coming into the city, but what does that mean for a lot of our processing and systems that exist for city residents. And waste is one of those big ones. It's what helps keep the city healthy and clean.
In Massachusetts, there is a shortage of capacity for where trash can go. And what that means is that the cost of managing trash is going to continue to rise as we become dependent on exporting our trash to other states. We become at their mercy because if they choose to say, oh, we don't want your trash anymore, or oh, we're going to charge you double now because they can and there's no place else for it to go, like shame on us. We need to be able to manage our own material as opposed to exporting our problem to somebody else. Here it is, 351 cities and towns that are all managing their own trash systems. It's completely inefficient. It doesn't make any sense at all. And of course, for paying attention to like waste hauling and recycling hauling, you have all these different trucks on the road, and there's no efficiency to just have this kind of artificial border when you're on a main street and you see another trash can up ahead, but you're like, oh, that's not my customer, or that's in another town, I'm not gonna pick it up. And then in the last 10, 15 years, there have been so many new types of materials, so many, I call them Frankenstein materials that hit store shelves and people just don't know what to do with it. As these new materials came out and they didn't know what category they fit into, they would err on the side of recycling as opposed to like, well, I'm not sure if this is recyclable, but it's always like, I'll let them figure it out.
I think it's definitely understandable where residents may not always have the best sense of what can and can't be recycled, but that's where we try and come in and help to provide that information. So I think the spectrum of Boston residents ranges from what is recycling even, that they don't even recycle, all the way to our early adopters who care so much about it and have been doing it since day one. And that's great because we need everyone to be able to help pull up the end and get us to where we need to be.
So I'm sorting the batteries. These all are alkaline, they're going to go in the trash. People could have thrown them out at home. And these ones, it's very important for them to be processed because if you threw a bunch in your trash, these, whatever these are called, these ends touch each other, it could spark a fire. It's it's a never-ending thing, and every time I come down here, there's more and more of these batteries in the bins.
We just try to coordinate events and find ways of improving it to help advertise and market that, get more folks doing it, and to get a few thousand pounds worth of pumpkins out of the waste stream and into composting, where we're having our first of hopefully many pumpkin smash events.
So the process begins with a training. So we train employees, staff, and the clients of the business on how to source separate.
We have education hand in hand with the service. We're not here just to pick up people's food waste. We're here to have a conversation about what is recycling and what is composting and how we can bring that into the collective consciousness of our communities and have social responsibility, not just in the community, but also at the corporate level too.
I really wanted to become a worker owner, and I really wanted to start working in sustainability. So, I don't know, I guess I just really wanted something that was more immediate, immediately affecting the issues we have.
I'm a Latin American woman living in Boston for almost 28 years. I'm very concerning about all the issues that affect the social environment, the working class people, the poor people. The reason this bar right here, because the way the business are located, it's not possible to be picked out for a big truck. So a box truck had to go to this place and pick it out this barrel.
When I see all this waste food they throw out, which is good, recycle is good, but imagine so many people, so many restaurants, so many schools, they don't know yet about this.
A big part of that is engaging residents through education and outreach, and also helping shift the built environment and cultural norms of how we do things so that we can do them better and more efficiently and more sustainably.
We have America Recycles Day coming up, so some of it might go towards that. That's like in a month though, so like we got time.
That might be something to organize maybe as part of it.
So yeah, Green Team was started in 2007. It was a mix of teachers, administrators, some parents, and some students. And that group met every few weeks and over time became, I think, a really important part of the school's culture and helped to eventually lead us to get recognition as a Green Ribbon school from the federal government. Our school now lists environmental stewardship as one of its core values. And I think we see that value played out on a daily basis in all corners of the school, whether it's students who are recycling their paper in a classroom or recycling their other waste in the cafeteria at lunchtime, being conscious enough of our composting program to participate in that on a daily basis. I think it has become part of the ethos and just the daily routine of life at our high school. These are the compostable trays, so they will actually go to our town's transfer station. Every corner of the cafeteria has a setup like this. These will all be recycled. The paper here will all be recycled. The compostable food here will all go out back to the compost station. We need to be patient enough to recognize that we can't change all this overnight, and we can't expect to move the behavior of over 1,000 students and over 100 professionals working in the building overnight. There will always be some reluctance, some disbelief, some cynicism about whether changing your behavior can make a difference, whether it matters, whether climate change is a real threat, whether sustainability is a genuinely important issue or not. But our hope is that we'll convince as many people as we possibly can to change their behavior, to do something positive, and to try to make a difference.
What do you think is the biggest, issue to tackle right now, or will be?
That is such a good question. I think one of the biggest I think there's going to be a good number of different challenges, right? So, as a resident, as like a municipality, you're only in control of so many different things that you can change. When we're implementing programs and policies, making sure that they're adept and adaptable to as the times change. We don't want to create something and institute it and then it become irrelevant. I get this information firsthand because it's like my everyday job, but like someone who is, working their 9 to 5, like how are they going to find out about that information to make sure that they're, helping the city, as we sure most people want to do the best for the place that they call home.
My house has windows that bring natural light, and so until it starts to get dark at night, that's when I turn on the lights generally. Marcia Cooper, and I'm president of Green Newton. Been president for 11 years. Also a painter, and from early in the morning until I go to sleep at night, much of my decisions are based on sustainability. So, for instance, we have a meal and I use cloth napkins. I don't use paper towels. I use reusable cloth. I use reusable bags for all my shopping, or no bag. I've given thought about incorporating my environmental perspectives into my artwork. Each individual supporting the one next to you and taking on these challenges one step at a time. That's what they're doing, one step at a time, advancing along to really protect our earth. Don't throw up your hands and say it's hopeless. Never say that. I don't like when young people, feel discouraged. I always want young people to feel like they can make a difference, and that you don't spend your time thinking about all that the odds are challenging, or that it's too daunting.